Alright, I'm inside the Chevy Volt right now, 2012. And I've got, see if I can pull up my screen here and change the climate. Let's turn the power on. And we have our range meter right here on the left side that says I got about 40 miles worth of range on the car. Okay, looks like I got a touch screen here. Volume. And here's the actual shift.
Now, see, if you ask about electric, this is your electric motor. See, it says 38 miles. What they're saying is you'll have 38 miles before
range before the gas engine kicks in, right?
Yeah, but the gas doesn't have that much in it, so it'll switch over when you're out of it. It'll stay on it until.
Can I take her for a spin? You gonna come with?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
That's part of the deal.
Okay, man. All right. I suppose I should probably put on my belt, huh?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
See, the nice part about it is,
we're all electric now, right?
Yeah, if your fuel range is within the first 35 miles, there's very, very, very little gas use. A little bit.
So let's put it back on eco real quick.
Yep.
And right now it tells us we're getting a range of 109 miles.
Right.
If I baby the throttle, let's see if I hit the throttle really hard.
Yeah, it'll adjust. Take a while. Well, it takes
108 miles.
It'll adjust out. If you keep, obviously the harder you push it. I've got a customer right now.
Yeah.
That last time she was in, I washed her car.
Yeah.
She had 2,897 miles on it.
Okay.
22.7 gallons is what she used. She set it so from the day one we had everything set at 0.
But does she charge it every day?
Yeah.
So if she charged it every day, how many miles a day is she going?
She's right within that 40-some.
40.
But she took a few long trips. She took a trip to Madison.
Oh, okay.
I mean, a lot of that gas wasn't even used. This is over 3 months. I mean, this is like all of her driving. I said, have you not done any driving? No, this is just her story. In other words, this is how she drives it. This is her story.
Okay.
It's not anything like where she's trying not to get.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
she's just at her life, that's what she's used. And she's thrilled to death.
Where is the regen on this the screen here? Where I can see the when I brake, it should have regen.
Okay. There's some different buttons you can adjust. Over on the side there's different icon scripts.
Okay.
I can't really do it while you're driving home. We have to do it as we get back. But you can bring up different information, things that you want to see. It kind of depends on what's.
It's over here.
Yeah. I don't really want to do that, but
I see. I see.
Have a little safety.
Yeah.
I'll allow the camera, but. Too many more, I'll probably have to say that. Because you have to have, right now, if you notice, drive mode says normal. You can
normal, and you can change. You can change the.
Yeah.
There we go. So, there we go. That's what I wanted to see.
Right. Power flow.
Okay.
Charging, energy flow. Battery power.
Do the energy flow. Let's see that. Driving style.
Climate setting. Because that even affects it. Energy efficiency.
Energy usage.
Yeah. See, so just give
250 mile per gallon right now.
Yeah. Right. That's what I told you. I mean, it's unbelievable.
And this range over here on the bottom left is still staying at 107 miles.
Right, but you notice there's 35 left though. Till it charge. That shows you. In other words, it's
that's total range with gas.
No, without gas.
That's without gas?
Yeah, that's the electric. What you see
this right down here.
That charge that says 35 miles means that you have 35 miles.
No, I'm talking about this one down here. Is that with the gasoline? This gray one? That's probably with gasoline, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
So 34 miles left.
On just electric.
Okay.
Now you got it.
Just taking it nice and easy. I want to try to baby it and see if I can get drive a few miles here and just to get an idea of I don't know where where does it show miles driven? Probably I don't know where that is.
The miles we drove?
Yeah.
Well, we got 11 small charge for electricity. So, like for example, there's your kilowatt.
I know it's 10 cents basically a per kilowatt, about 90 cents a day to charge up.
Right. That's all I want to see.
It's about 9 kilowatt per day, and if you charge it off hours, it's probably even less than that. If you charge it, getting the if you're at a corporate office, and where I used to work, we used to have a plan. We got our energy for 6 cents per kilowatt hour, so it's even less. It's 60 cents if you charge it at work. Yeah. So you have one of these?
I don't myself have one. I just have been selling for about 6 months. So.
Okay, how many have you sold in about 6 months?
3.
3 of them? And how many have you leased?
All of them.
All of them?
Yeah, honestly, if someone wants to buy one, I'm almost disappointed in them. And I'll tell you the main reason why. Think with me for a minute. Let's assume that the financial factors of leasing equal buying. In other words, there's no better rate. There's no better deal. Hear me on this. Let's say there's no better deal for buying.
Okay.
Why not lease it? Because here's my thought. You know how they improve technology as they go.
Right.
It's just inevitability that, cell phones, iPads, everything gets better. They're probably going to even have a better version of this to me in 3 to 5 years.
Okay.
So I always suggest if you can do the 4-year lease, do it. My gut tells me, I might be wrong, but in 4 years, there'll probably even be a amped up version that'll have a longer range, maybe 100 miles instead of 35.
Okay, now.
So you see what I'm saying? In other words, you lease this one now. Here's my thought: lease this one. It's the best technology going. Give them 3 or 4 years to improve on it.
Let me just tell you my thoughts on this. I've been following EVs now for over a decade. I started following them when Toyota came out with the all-electric RAV4 EV, and it was strictly sold out in California. I go to Hybrid Fest every year. I meet up with the fanatics out in California that basically pushed. These are the people that were responsible for kicking Bob Lutz in the butt and getting him to do this car. The reason why this car was built primarily is because of Tesla Roadster, the Tesla motors. Guys out in California, Aero Environment, who designed the electronics for the EV1, original EV1, was the EV1 technology. I guess the inverter, high voltage, high wattage inverter, is being used and licensed in the Tesla Roadster. Well, Bob Lutz saw the Roadster and he saw the car in real life get 250, 300 miles, and he said, "Holy crap! This stuff about the batteries not working is total bullshit." And he saw all these guys like Andy Franks from Cal Cars who had his students modifying cars for plug-in just like this was, and he says, well, we can build these, and people, there's a demand for them, and they started doing them, and so the battery technology in these cars is lithium iron phosphate, and apparently, from what I understand, getting down to the point, is that there's only so much energy density you can put in per cubic foot per cubic area of battery, and lithium batteries kind of max that out right now. So when you're saying that they're going to come out with a 100-mile range, that seems to contradict from what I've been taught and what I've heard from the engineers and the people that design it. You can only have so much energy density in the battery, and I think lithium has the maximum energy density in the pack. But there might be, I think there's a couple of companies out there that are experimenting with nano-sized cells, or doing nanotech, where they can, squeeze out a little bit more. They can put more energy density in the batteries. But my main selling point, and here's something that I'll try to push on to you, is, you're saying you're disappointed in people that buy it. Now think about it this way: there's no moving parts in this car. This is what it's got hub motors, right, that drive.
Yes.
This electric energy, it comes from the grid, and it goes directly right into the hub motor. There's no loss. It doesn't go through a transmission. There's no loss from the transmission. There's no moving parts. There's no chains. There's no oil changes. There's no transmission fluids. There's no you know, there's no filters, maybe the air filter for the cabin, but think about how long how long do you think this car is going to last when there's no moving parts? The laws of physics favor this car getting about 300,000 miles lifetime. So if you're paying, I just look back there, you're selling the Camaros for $40,000, and people are like gladly apparently paying $40,000 for a Camaro, for a whatever 6-cylinder, 8-cylinder beast, you know, gas guzzling monster. And you don't want to pay $40,000 for a car that's going to last you probably 300,000. I would bet my money that this car would get 400,000 miles on it. I mean, if they did the technology right, and they weren't trying to scam people and didn't deliberately make the parts, you know, fail like some companies have been known to do. If they did it right, and I think that they did, I believe that they did. I think you should get 300,000 miles out of this car. So think about that selling point. This car is going to last you basically almost your whole life.
Well, when I look at it,
I know that sounds a little outrageous, but I don't think it's that far-fetched.
Here's how I look at it. Let's just stay with me. Let's say that the costs of leasing it,
okay,
and the cost of buying it are parallel. In other words, let's say you lease it for 4 years,
okay,
and the residual buyout at the end, plus what the lease payments were, was the same as if you would have bought it. In other words, there's no financial gain from buying it.
I get what you're saying.
What I'm saying is, in other words, it's risk-free. So let's say we did the math. You were like, right now, let's say that you and I went back to the dealership and you decided you want to purchase. Let's say after taxes and everything, I'm going to use a simple number, it was $10. And let's say that leasing it after you paid your 4 years of lease payments and then the price at the end, it was $10.
Yeah.
My thought is, if you're not losing and the price is the same, take advantage of that, because hear me out.
Okay.
If for some reason they do improve in such a way, you now have the ability to either keep the one. You can remember, you can always buy the lease out. Leases are not the company's property until you release it.
Right.
At the end of the lease, every customer who leases the car is given an exact residual. Okay. And that's the same, like, that's the same forever. What I mean is,
I don't know much about leasing.
But here's what I was trying to explain. It's like, if the car costs $40, it's probably going to cost $15,000 to lease it. The residual is probably going to be $25,000.
Okay.
So what I meant was, generally the way my customers.
So when you lease it, you're actually you can lease it in a way where you can actually make payments on it, and then you're saying that after the lease is over, the residual cost
is what's left.
Is what's left over.
You can buy it.
Okay, so you're not actually throwing your money away.
No, because you always have the right. A lease nowadays, the buyer has the option, 3 options with a lease.
Okay.
Number 1, you can keep it, like you can buy it at any time.
Okay.
Number 2, you can trade it in. So let's say that it's worth more money. Like, just say, for example, the value of it was a little higher than the residual.
Okay.
You could trade it for a profit. You see my point now?
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
If it's not, you can always just turn it back in and get a new one. The only point I meant was, it just gives you, and that's the other advantage. Well, here, the number 1 advantage of leasing, if you said, Marcus, what would be the real advantage? Right now, if you buy one of these traditionally, and usually about the longest loan is 72 months, the payment, even if you had the lowest rate possible, is going to be higher than if you lease it. And I guess the simple analysis, if you said the number 1 advantage of leasing is you can drive it cheaper. Obviously, you can always pay cash, but if there's a payment involved, you can enjoy the technology cheaper. So my thought is, let's say you're a person that has a budget of only $400 a month.
Okay.
If you're buying this car, you're out of the market.
Right.
Because there's no ability for you to buy this car for $400 a month unless you put a substantial amount of money down. If you lease the car now, here's the advantage. You're in the car. You're in a budget you can afford. And now when the time comes to buy it later, you can still afford it. Maybe that's what I meant when I said the true advantage of leasing. Not just the fact that it's about the same as buying, but it gives more people an opportunity to get in the car. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people can't afford $600 a month.
Right. Well, that's what you'd be paying for car payments if you bought it.
Right.
I see what you're saying.
Right.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, it gives more people opportunity. And for me, as a salesperson, I'll be honest with you, I would rather, being up front, I'd rather lease everybody a car because at least I get a second shot at you. Maybe you'll keep it,
okay,
but it keeps me in with you. In other words,
I got what you're saying. So the reason you got more leases, people are leasing this. Okay, it's cheaper now. How does the interest play in?
There's hardly no interest on a lease.
There's no interest.
Yeah,
on
it's like point. It's 0. It's like, well, it's so small. You couldn't get a lower rate buying. So in other words, that's what I was trying to explain to you. The lease is so cheap that it's almost impossible to buy the car as cheap as you can lease it.
Okay.
Because there's no interest rate hardly. It's a small money factor. So every time you make a payment, it's coming pretty much right off the principal. And then the residual value will show you that, because at the end, it kind of all has to add up together. You know, the residual value and the amount you spent. All you got to do is add up those numbers. And then you would know right away. Okay, you could say, okay, Marcus, let's say you want to buy this. And we figured out what the payment was. And so we took the payment times 72 and whatever that was. Then we took the lease payment plus the buyout. You would know whether it was a better deal just from those two numbers.
Okay.
We have to turn around here.
Okay.
But I think that's the point I was making, was the lease gives more customers options.
Okay.
And it gives you, I'm just doing this so that this window stickers out of your way. It gives you as a customer a chance to enjoy the car at a payment
half of what you would be paying,
or even 2/3. But still, a lot of people, I have a lot of customers that $300 to $350 is a lot easier to pay than $550 to $600.
Okay.
You know, and plus here's another factor. You're under warranty the whole time you're on a lease, because the average lease is 3 years, 36. The battery warranty is good. It's 8 years.
Oh, I'm not even worried about that. That's a no-brainer.
I guess what I like about it, number one though, it gives people a chance to drive the car a little cheaper, more affordable, and then they can in turn, you know,
hang on.
Yeah, we got this cars here. They can do a better job with it. You're good now.
Okay.
So that's probably the main benefit. You know, it gives you that driving.
I'll just turn around in here.
Yeah, anywhere.
We'll go back.
I mean, these gas tanks are small. They're only 9.3 gallon gas tanks. So I mean, even during the gas run, you probably, if you maximize the gas, you get about 280 gas. So my judgment is the real range of the car, without stopping, if you went all the way through it, is over 300 miles.
Okay.
But eventually you'd have to stop for either gas or charge. So you get about 300 miles if you fill the car up with gas and you charge it, about 300, 350.
Okay.
And then that's it. So I think here's something now remember you were talking about technology being improved?
Yeah.
I was talking to a couple of people about this. I think you're right, maybe as far as the battery capacity.
The energy density per cubic area.
Here's something they may improve.
Okay.
They might be able to improve the ability to get the charging done quicker. Because right now, for example...
Oh, I know that.
Right now, that's here. If you said, well, I'm going to tell you what the number one problem with the car is. Because we're talking about the car. Let me tell you the number one problem.
It takes 8 hours to charge.
If they get this down to where you can charge this thing in 10 minutes and there's a charging station everywhere, I'm telling you right now, that right there, that simple thing I said.
Let me ask you, I have another question for you. Okay, what is another very important into the incentive in buying these? Nobody knows what the $7,500 is. That a tax credit?
That's exactly what it is. No, yes, it is.
What is the difference between a tax credit and a tax?
It is. It's a tax credit. For example, I'll explain how it works.
Okay.
Let's say you made $50,000 a year.
Okay.
And you know how you buy a house.
Okay.
Let's say your house's interest was $10,000 a year.
Okay.
You can deduct the $10,000, so in essence, you only made $40,000.
Okay.
Same thing with that.
So it's basically just a tax write-off, not a tax credit.
Right. It's the same thing. In other words, so real value would be based on the interest. Let's say your real interest rate.
Now hold on. Let me get down to the nitty-gritty.
Yep.
Now, when you write off that $7,500, how much of that do you actually get back from the government?
I was going to explain how that works.
Okay.
It comes down to your tax bracket. For example, if let's say you were in a higher tax bracket.
Okay.
And you could actually do it with your, you could do it right there. Like say I go to H&R Block. You go right to H&R Block and say, let's say I was getting $2,000 back.
Okay.
And then you said, okay, now I'm going to add in this $7,500 tax credit. If she said, Marcus, you're now getting $4,500 back. So in real money, it was worth $2,500 to me. So in other words, the best way I can explain it to a customer would be have your taxes done both ways.
Okay.
With the credit, without. And so then that net money that you get difference For you, because each person's different based on their income.
Okay.
Obviously, if you don't make that much income, you don't have that much taxes come out.
Right.
The more income, the higher percentage. So that's not an exact for everybody.
Okay.
Then you would say, okay, for me personally, it was worth $2,000 in actual money, and that's pretty much how that goes. But I wouldn't buy it.
Do you ever talk to them about the torque curve on EVs and how the energy from the electricity is actually pushed and it actually goes to the wheels directly, direct transfer to the wheels through a hub motor? Do you explain to people how that works? That there's no loss. It's electricity and how it comes out of the grid, it goes into the battery, it stays in the form of electricity, okay, in the form of electrons, and those electrons get transferred directly to the hub motor, and basically there's really no loss. And on top of that, you have an instantaneous torque curve. So when I go like this, it's got similar pickup probably to a sports car. So I just hit the throttle, and hold on, I'll slow down again, and I'll hit it so that the camera can pick up the acceleration on this car. This is not a granny car. We're going. I'll go down to 42, and I'm going to push the throttle right now. There we go. 1, 2, 3, and we're up to 60 already in 3 seconds.
Great response. I guess to answer your question, I've more explained it in the drive field. What I mean by that is everybody that's leased this.
Oh, thanks, man. That was an awesome ride. It's the best Chevy I've ever driven. Best car I've ever driven. It's a better ride than my Prius, I have to say. I mean, I'm a hardcore Toyota guy too, so.
You had asked about those numbers there?
Yeah.
Now, if you see that select mode, that's when you
just push this.
Push that, then you kind of rotate it, then you can see how that's rotated, then you can see how that's
okay.
28.6 miles, 0 gallons were used.
Okay.
See what I mean? So right now, if you roll that thing, the roller, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. See, so that's the next. That would be the next trip.
Oh, those are all the different.
Now, oil life. See, so you remember you asked about the oil life. You can actually check how much your oil life is doing. Well, remember you had said when to change the oil?
Okay.
For example, this hasn't used any oil. Keep going. It wouldn't use much until you have reached this.
Okay, the tire. Oh wow! It's
there's a lot of stuff. Keep going.
That's incredible.
There's no messages. That would be this. You can change that to metric.
Tutorial mode available in park.
Yep.
Navigation.
Yeah, this has nav.
Okay.
You know that.
Okay.
Push config if you want to change what you see. I'm sorry.
Okay. Config.
See that over there?
That's your brake efficiency.
You asked about that brake stuff.
Okay, your regen. Yeah, the higher that ball goes, the more you're regenerating. And you can kind of see that over with this screen too, I noticed when I was filming.
Well, there's a lot of information here. I mean,